Well, good morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Lindsey Monroe. We are in the thick of it right now. It is Sunday, January 25th, and we are continuing to track some heavy snow. Wanted to start with a look on the west side of town. Here's I-70 at Sam Jones Expressway, where we had an earlier incident clear. And as you can see, not much happening on the roads from a traffic standpoint, and that is a good thing. Hopefully that remains to be the case even as we get into the morning hours and throughout the course of this Sunday, because I don't see road conditions changing much for the better. This is a look at what our bridges and overpasses look like, and this is I-70, completely snow covered. We've seen several crews pre-treating the roads and trying to keep up, but the snow is falling at such a clip at this point. It's just going to be a very difficult task from here on out until this whole system starts to wrap up later today. In the meantime, our temperature actually dropped a degree this hour. We've been holding steady, kind of right there around 10 degrees. Since yesterday afternoon. We're now down to 9, and I don't see our temperatures changing much today. We're going to hold steady between about 9 degrees and perhaps getting up to about 15 later today. That's about it. As far as the snow goes, check it out. We have some banding starting to take place, especially across the southern half of the state. Now, this was expected. We were anticipating some of these heavier snow bands setting up for our southernmost counties. I wanted to show you this right here. Some of these darker swaths of snow. That is very intense snowfall, increasing to snowfall rates of perhaps 1 inch to 2 inches per hour. And it's going to continue for the next several hours. So you can see how quickly we're going to see that accumulation really start to pile up with that banding that's now starting to take place. Wanted to show you a look at that bigger picture. It is a good portion of the eastern U.S. now being impacted by this ongoing system. And as far as the source of our snow, we are still seeing moisture getting picked up from the Gulf, surged into this low pressure area to our south, and it's fueling further precip development still down to our southwest. So this is all headed in our direction. Snow is still falling down in Dallas, northern Texas. That is all headed in our direction. You can see that freezing line right here. We typically do see those heavier snow bands kind of set up just on the north side of that freezing line. So we're just kind of getting things started here during the overnight hours. And as far as those ongoing alerts, we've got the ice situation going on to our south, and we still have these winter storm warnings that went into effect yesterday, and they have been extended through Monday morning, because while the snow will wrap up later tonight, the impacts from this winter storm will likely continue into Monday. Here's the timeline as we look ahead at today. Happening now, the steadiest and the heaviest snowfall coming down as travel conditions continue to worsen. And for the rest of the day, we're going to see a bulk of that accumulation through the rest of the morning and into the early afternoon. I think the heaviest of the snow will start to wrap up between about 4 and 6. And then as far as the snow clearing our area, that's about 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to walk you through that hour-by-hour timeline in just a second here. But then as we get into Monday, I think we could still see some lingering light snow showers. Nothing that's going to bring a significant amount of additional accumulation. But we will start to see that wind picking up today. Not extreme wind, but gusts up to 25 miles per hour. We'll start to blow some of this fine snow around, just given its texture. So that could create some issues as well. So we think that this will cause some ongoing light morning snow, leading to delays and closures for the course of the day on Monday. Not only that, but we're going to start to talk about some extreme cold, and that's not just for Monday. That's going to be ongoing through most of this upcoming work week. In the meantime, wanted to show you what it looks like downtown Indy as that light snow continues to fall. We've got a temp of 9. We've got a wind chill of 8 below. And again, not much of a change temperature-wise today as that snow continues to fall. We'll perhaps warm up a few degrees back to about 15 later on this afternoon. Wanted to walk you through the timeline here as we've got some of this heavier snow that's going to continue central southern part of the state, and we'll see some scattered snow showers basically encompassing the entire state. That takes us through noon today. Let's walk you a little farther into the future. We might see perhaps a weak lightning here as we get into about 2 o'clock, but I think the snowfall rate is going to pick back up for the rest of the afternoon, especially kind of along that I-69 corridor. This is 4 o'clock today, so it's still going. After 4 p.m., we're going to start to see this let up from west to east. By about 7 p.m., I think most of the steadier snowfall is going to be done, and this will continue to pull off to the east as we get into the latter part of our evening tonight. As I mentioned, the wind is going to be a little bit more intense compared to yesterday. Not a significant wind, but check this out. As we get into the afternoon, this is about 4:30. We could potentially see some wind gusts in excess of 25 to 30 miles per hour. And just given the texture of the snow, I think that's going to really start to blow things around. That could create some drifting concerns, especially on more rural roads. And especially when it comes to our visibility, I think there's going to be some brief periods of whiteout conditions if that snow and the wind come together through the rest of the day. So as far as how that's going to impact our roadways, we've been watching our travel impacts, and we do think this zone here of major travel impacts has shifted a little farther to the north, kind of right along that I-70 corridor all throughout our southernmost counties. We think especially, again, those secondary, more rural roads and even our interstates at this point are going to become very difficult. Some of those secondary roads that are not prioritized from our crews out clearing the roadways may become impassable at times. Rest of the state, still looking at snow-covered, dangerous travel conditions, and even where we're anticipating a slightly lower snowfall totals, that is still going to create some slick and slow travel across northern Indiana. Still 3 to 5 inches well to our north. 5 to 8 inch zone encompasses Lafayette to Kokomo, Marion. We're still looking at that 8 to 12 inch zone right along the I-70 corridor and north to Carmel, Muncie, as well as Winchester. And this zone has been expanded just a little bit, not a major change from our original forecast, but with the snowfall rates and the banding that we are seeing set up in southern Indiana, not out of the question, Bloomington to Columbus, Seymour could be in that 12 to 14 inch range as we had talked. So just lifted that line a little farther to the north, so kind of right there, including Connorsville and Richmond at that point. So that's our snowfall potential map when this is all said and done. Wanted to show you some impacts from across the country as this again is impacting so many of us, and it's the ice to the south and even the potential of some strong to severe storms even farther south than that. And we've been watching power outage situations from across the U.S. We are starting to see some significant power outages across Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas as well. And there are specific counties where we are seeing some of that heavy ice accumulation, northern parts of Mississippi, where we are seeing nearly entire counties being without power. I've also been keeping an eye on our power situation across Indiana. So far, so good. It's been mainly a snow event, so we talked about that potential of some isolated power outages. If this were an ice situation, I think that'd be a lot different. I think they'd be a lot more widespread, so we'll keep you updated there. Now, once all the snow moves out, we're going to be talking about the cold. Temperatures that are going to fall below zero. And I think looking ahead at this upcoming week, almost every overnight, we're going to see low temperatures falling below zero. That is just what happens. You get this cold Arctic air mass, you get this fresh, very extensive snowpack, and that just reflects any warmth from staying close to the surface, and that allows that temperature to really drop. So overnight lows falling well below zero, and we're also going to have that wind that will be ongoing from the north. That takes our wind chill temperatures down to as cold as 20 below in Indy. I think there will be some outlying locations that could potentially fall as cold as 30 below when we start the day on Monday. Tomorrow, though, does look to be a dry day as we'll be on the backside of that system, perhaps a light lingering snow shower. That's about it. As our wind chill values stay well below zero, 13 below will be about as warm as we get on Monday, with actual air temperatures warming to about 8-9 degrees for a high temperature Monday afternoon. We'll call it 9 in Indy, 12 in Columbus, and 9 in Richmond. Of course, going to feel just significantly colder than that due to this fresh snowpack. Here are your temperatures. It's also going to impact highs. I don't see us getting back above 20 until perhaps the first day of February. And as far as getting back above freezing, perhaps not till February 3rd. So we're in it. The long stretch here. Temperatures are going to be well below that average high of 36 in the extended forecast. And keep in mind those low temperatures likely to stay below zero throughout the course of this week. Climate Prediction Center watching the eastern U.S. Still looking like a very good chance that we continue to see these below average temperatures. That's going to take us out about 10 days from now through February 4th. We have went ahead and talked about this weather impact alert. We've extended it by a few days because of the prolonged extreme cold, with overnight low temperatures falling as cold as 10 below Wednesday morning. We are watching a clipper system here on Wednesday. Not going to be a major snowmaker, could bring some light additional snowfall. And then behind that, still looking at a low temperature of about 7 below Thursday. 3 below on Friday as we see a slight improvement here in our temperatures, but overall a pretty bitter stretch of weather ahead. So we will keep you updated on road conditions on the ongoing winter storm throughout the morning.